China just decimated the $174 billion US farming industry, and it's only the beginning. After decades of partnership, China has made a surprising move that's shaking the very foundations of America's agriculture. The US farming industry, reliant on Chinese demand, is facing disaster. But why is this happening now, and what does it mean for you and the food you buy? What's happening? The US farming industry, worth a staggering $174 billion, is facing an unprecedented crisis. For decades, American farmers relied heavily on one of their biggest customers, China. China's demand for soybeans, corn, and other staples from the US has kept rural America thriving, creating a dependable market that helps sustain millions of farming jobs and small businesses across the country. But that relationship has now shattered. In a stunning and sudden move, China has made the decision to drastically reduce agricultural imports from the United States. This isn't just a financial setback for farmers, it's a seismic economic shift that's shaking the very foundations of rural America. Farmers are facing the immediate consequences of this shutdown. Crops that were once destined for export to China are now left rotting in warehouses. With no buyers for their harvests, prices are plummeting. Where US soybeans and corn once commanded top dollar, now they are stuck in the field or going unsold, leaving farmers grappling with financial devastation. For many, this disruption has already led to bankruptcy, and it's a crisis that will continue to unfold in the months and years ahead. While this economic blow is crushing, the question remains, why is China making this bold and unexpected decision? What led to the end of a partnership that has supported US agriculture for so long? From partnership to breakdown. For decades, China and the US had a thriving agricultural partnership. What caused this sudden rift? The US and China's agricultural partnership wasn't just about trade. It was a carefully balanced relationship that kept both nations thriving. Over the years, China's growing demand for soybeans, corn, and other staple crops helped fuel the success of American agriculture. The US became the go-to supplier for China's needs, and in return, American farmers enjoyed a steady stream of income and a robust market to sell their goods. This created a profitable cycle that benefited both sides. But like all delicate partnerships, it began to unravel when external pressures started to build. For one, political tensions between the US and China have escalated in recent years. Trade wars, tariffs, and mounting diplomatic challenges started to fray the fabric of their agricultural relationship. Meanwhile, China's appetite for American crops wasn't just a business deal, it had become a key component of its own economic strategy. The decision to reduce agricultural imports from the US signifies more than just a shift in trade. It's a fundamental reevaluation of China's priorities. No longer wanting to be so dependent on one nation for its agricultural imports, China turned to other global suppliers like Brazil and Argentina, who were eager to fill the gaps. The loss of this major market isn't just an agricultural problem, it's a complete upheaval of the financial foundation that has supported millions of families and businesses across the US. How are the ripple effects starting to show themselves? The ripple effects. It's not just the farmers feeling the pain. This crisis is hitting local businesses, schools, and healthcare. Here's how. When you think of the US farming industry, it's easy to focus solely on the farmers themselves. However, the truth is that the entire rural economy is interwoven with agriculture. When China made the decision to reduce agricultural imports, it didn't just impact the crops grown in the fields. It sent shockwaves through every small business, school, and healthcare system in rural America. Local businesses that depend on the success of farms are already feeling the strain. Equipment dealers, for example, are seeing a sharp decline in sales as farmers hold on to older machinery longer, unwilling to spend on new equipment they can't afford. Seed suppliers and fertilizer distributors are noticing fewer orders as farmers scale back or delay planting new crops. Without a steady income from exports to China, many farmers are rethinking their strategies. Some are even considering leaving the industry altogether. This isn't just an economic collapse, it's a cultural one. The very fabric of rural communities is being tested. Generations of families have made their living off the land, and now they are forced to reconsider their futures. Communities that once boasted strong local economies are beginning to show signs of fragmentation. As these communities begin to unravel under the pressure, the question remains, how does this crisis impact the broader future of the US agricultural industry? Let's look at the long-term consequences for American farmers. The long-term crisis, survival or collapse. Can American farmers survive this blow, or is the farming industry on the verge of collapse? As the situation continues to unfold, the future of American agriculture hangs in the balance. While the immediate effects are devastating, the long-term outlook is even more uncertain. Farmers are asking themselves whether they can survive without China's massive demand. Will they be able to find new markets in time to prevent further damage to their livelihoods? The reality is that many farmers are already in deep financial trouble. With crops going unsold, prices dropping, and costs rising, the financial burden is overwhelming. Those who were already living paycheck to paycheck are now facing the prospect of losing everything. Bankruptcy is becoming a real threat for many, and some may even be forced to sell off their family farms. However, not all hope is lost. Some farmers are finding ways to adapt to the changing landscape. Diversification is key. Those who are able to shift their focus to new markets or alternative crops may find a path to survival. Others are embracing new technologies that promise greater efficiency and sustainability. Precision agriculture, for example, is helping farmers reduce input costs while maximizing yields. With so many hurdles ahead, it's clear that this crisis is far from over. The question now is how American agriculture will evolve in the wake of such a significant disruption. Let's take a closer look at what could be the way forward for these farmers and their communities. China's new trade partners. As China looks elsewhere for agricultural supplies, other nations are stepping up. Can the US afford to lose its place in the global market? China, the world's largest importer of agricultural goods, is making a massive shift in its trade strategy. For decades, the US has been one of China's primary sources for soybeans, corn, and other essential crops. But now, China is pivoting toward new suppliers. South American countries like Brazil and Argentina are rapidly positioning themselves to take over the role once held by the United States. This pivot marks a monumental change, and the implications for American agriculture are severe. Brazil, with its vast farmlands and favorable climate, has been quick to fill the gap left by US exports. In fact, over the past decade, Brazil has made huge strides in improving its agricultural infrastructure. It has invested heavily in modern farming technology, enhancing its supply chain, and ramping up production to meet China's growing demand. This isn't just a response to China's shift. Brazil has strategically positioned itself to become one of the world's largest and most reliable agricultural exporters. Similarly, Argentina, with its fertile Pampas region, is also looking to expand its agricultural output. Despite facing its own economic challenges, Argentina has leveraged its existing agricultural strength, improving cultivation techniques and increasing production to meet the demands of the Chinese market. While the competition from South America intensifies, the real question remains: how can American farmers adapt to this new global landscape? The path forward isn't clear, but there are glimmers of hope. Let's see how American farmers are starting to fight back. Adaptation and innovation, survival tactics. In the face of the crisis, some American farmers are rising to the challenge. How are they adapting to this seismic shift? Adapting to the loss of a major trading partner is no easy feat, but American farmers are doing everything they can to survive. With China pulling back, farmers are being forced to innovate, diversify, and find new markets. The strategy for many is simple: adapt or perish. One of the most important ways farmers are adapting is by diversifying their crops. For years, US farmers focused heavily on a limited range of crops like soybeans and corn, many of which were sold primarily to China. With that market now uncertain, farmers are exploring other options. Organic produce, alternative grains like quinoa, and even niche products like hemp are making their way onto American farms. This diversification is critical as it provides farmers with new revenue streams that can help offset the losses from traditional crops. Technological innovation is another key factor in American farmers' survival strategy. Precision farming tools such as drones, satellite imaging, and soil sensors are becoming increasingly accessible, helping farmers improve yields while reducing costs. These tools allow farmers to monitor their crops in real time, adjust irrigation schedules, and optimize fertilization. They also help reduce waste and improve sustainability, making US agriculture more competitive on the global stage. Adaptation is vital, but government action is also essential. How are lawmakers responding to this crisis? Let's take a closer look at the political response and what policies could make a difference. The government's role, policy, and support. As the crisis deepens, policymakers are under pressure to act. Can they help farmers rebuild, or is it too little, too late? As the situation escalates, it's clear that the US government's involvement will be crucial to helping farmers navigate this crisis. So far, emergency funding has been made available to help farmers who have lost income, but these measures are only temporary fixes. To truly help farmers survive in the long term, more comprehensive policies and structural changes are needed. One of the biggest areas for improvement is trade policy. In response to China's shift, the US government is exploring new trade agreements to open up other markets for American agricultural products. Expanding trade partnerships with nations in Europe, Asia, and Africa will be key to diversifying the export market. These new agreements could reduce the US farming sector's dependence on one nation, safeguarding it from future disruptions. Another key issue is agricultural infrastructure. For years, American farming has been plagued by inefficiencies in transportation networks, storage facilities, and processing plants. Modernizing these systems would reduce costs and help farmers get their products to market faster. Moreover, it would help ensure that US agriculture remains competitive in a global market that is becoming more efficient by the day. Lastly, there's the right to repair movement, which advocates for allowing farmers to repair and modify their own equipment. Many farmers are frustrated by the high costs of repair services and the limited ability to fix their machinery themselves. Allowing farmers more control over their equipment could lower operational costs and make them more competitive. Government action is essential, but what about the global impact? What does this crisis mean for the US's place in the world? And how will other countries react to this agricultural disruption? A changing global landscape, food security at risk. Food security is no longer just a US issue, it's a global crisis. What happens when one of the world's largest food producers loses its grip? The shifting agricultural trade dynamics between the US and China have far-reaching global consequences. As the US faces a potential collapse of its agricultural sector, the stability of food systems around the world is being tested. The US has long been one of the world's largest and most reliable food producers, and this sudden disruption threatens not just American farmers, but global food security as well. China's decision to cut agricultural imports from the US is just one part of a larger trend toward diversifying global supply chains. As China turns to South America for its agricultural needs, other countries are reconsidering their own agricultural dependencies. Nations around the world are asking themselves, how vulnerable is their food supply to disruptions in US farming? The shifting agricultural supply chain raises significant environmental concerns, particularly in regions like South America. As Brazil and Argentina ramp up production, there are fears that their push for more farmland could lead to deforestation, particularly in the Amazon. The environmental cost of rapidly expanding agriculture is a serious concern for global sustainability. The global shift is undeniable, but the US is not without hope. Can American farmers innovate and adapt to survive this new reality? Let's look at the potential for recovery and what needs to be done next. Sustainability and innovation paving the way forward. Innovation is no longer optional, it's essential for the survival of American agriculture. So how are farmers embracing new technology to stay competitive? As American farmers face the harsh reality of losing one of their biggest trade partners, many are finding their salvation in innovation. While the economic toll of China's decision is still being felt, the way forward lies in embracing sustainability and technological advancements. These tools are no longer just luxuries, they are the lifeblood of the future of American farming. Sustainability has become the cornerstone of this new era in agriculture. Farmers are increasingly turning to regenerative farming practices that focus on soil health, water conservation, and reducing the reliance on chemical fertilizers. By enhancing the health of the land they work, farmers are ensuring long-term productivity while mitigating environmental harm. Practices like crop rotation, agroforestry, and reduced tillage are gaining traction, helping to improve the resilience of both the land and the farmers who rely on it. Alongside these sustainable practices, technology has emerged as a vital tool. Precision agriculture is helping farmers maximize yields while reducing waste. By using drones, GPS-guided tractors, and real-time data analytics, farmers can optimize everything from irrigation to pest management. These technologies not only help reduce costs, but also improve overall crop performance. What once seemed like cutting-edge tools are now becoming standard, giving even small-scale farmers the ability to compete on the global stage. As technology and sustainability drive innovation in farming, the financial challenges are far from over. So what strategies are farmers using to stay afloat and protect their livelihoods in these turbulent times? Financial strategies, how to weather the storm. Surviving a crisis like this requires more than just hard work. It requires smart financial strategies. Here's how farmers are managing to stay afloat despite the losses, while embracing new technologies and sustainable practices can help farmers thrive in the long run. The immediate crisis is still devastating. Without China's massive demand for US crops, many farmers are experiencing dramatic income losses. In response, they are turning to a variety of financial strategies to survive the storm. One of the most crucial strategies is diversifying revenue streams. Farmers who were once reliant on just a few crops are now branching out, planting alternative crops, or even exploring entirely new agricultural sectors like organic farming, hemp, or specialty grains. This diversification helps reduce the risk of relying on one market or one crop and provides farmers with additional sources of income. Cutting costs is another key financial strategy. Farmers are reducing overhead by postponing purchases of new equipment and scaling back on other expenses like fertilizer and fuel. In some cases, farmers are switching to more cost-effective farming methods or negotiating better deals with suppliers. By tightening their belts and rethinking their business models, many farmers are managing to stay afloat despite the drastic reduction in income. Financial strategies can help keep farms afloat, but what about the broader community? As rural America faces growing challenges, the social fabric of farming towns is beginning to fray. Let's explore how this crisis is impacting the very soul of these communities. Cultural resilience, keeping the heartland alive. The crisis may change the economy, but can it change the spirit of rural America? The answer might surprise you. Beyond the financial and technological challenges, one of the most profound impacts of this agricultural crisis is the social and cultural toll it's taking on rural America. The farming communities that once served as the backbone of the US economy are now struggling to maintain their identity, values, and way of life. But while this crisis is shaking the foundations, it's also sparking a renewed sense of resilience and unity among rural Americans. Farmers who once worked independently, focused on individual survival, are now banding together to face the crisis as a collective force. Local farmer cooperatives are emerging as a key resource, helping farms share equipment, knowledge, and resources. These cooperatives not only help reduce operational costs, but also provide a sense of solidarity that is essential in navigating tough times. There is also a cultural shift taking place in rural America. The crisis is prompting farmers to rethink what it means to farm in the 21st century. No longer just about survival, farming is evolving into a more sustainable and community-oriented practice. Many farmers are embracing new markets and niche products that cater to changing consumer demands, which not only help them survive, but also position them to thrive in the future. As these communities pull together and adapt, there's still much more to be done to ensure long-term success. Let's look at what needs to be done in the coming years to secure a prosperous future for US farmers. Technological advancements, the new frontier of farming. The future of farming isn't in the past. It's in the clouds, on screens, and in data. Is American agriculture ready for the technological revolution? As the agricultural industry faces unprecedented challenges, one of the most promising solutions lies in embracing cutting-edge technology. The landscape of farming is rapidly changing, with technology playing a pivotal role in helping farmers not only survive, but thrive in this new reality. Precision agriculture is at the forefront of this revolution. Drones, satellite imagery, and GPS-guided machinery are transforming the way farmers manage their crops. These technologies allow farmers to monitor their fields in real time, collecting data on everything from soil moisture levels to crop health. By using this data, farmers can make more informed decisions, reduce waste, and optimize their resources, all of which lead to higher yields and lower costs. But the potential for technology goes far beyond just improving crop yields. Sustainable farming practices are being revolutionized with the help of new innovations. From soil sensors that monitor the health of the earth to water management systems that conserve valuable resources, technology is enabling farmers to adopt greener practices. These innovations are not only good for the environment, but also help farmers cut costs and improve long-term productivity. Despite the promises of these technologies, the adoption process is not without challenges. The upfront costs of implementing advanced systems can be prohibitive for small-scale farmers, and many are hesitant to invest without a guaranteed return. However, as these technologies become more accessible and affordable, they are poised to level the playing field and empower farmers to compete on a global scale. As technology ushers in a new era for agriculture, the road to recovery still requires strong community support. But can American farming communities remain resilient in the face of such massive change? Let's look at the social and cultural impact of this transformation. A new vision for rural America. The crisis is forcing rural America to reinvent itself. But can these small towns hold on to their way of life while embracing change? The agricultural crisis has forced rural America to confront a harsh reality. Their way of life is no longer sustainable unless they adapt. As farmers and communities grapple with the loss of China as a primary trade partner, they are also reimagining what the future of rural life can look like. This crisis has sparked a cultural shift where farmers, local businesses, and towns are collaborating in unprecedented ways to ensure their survival. One of the most important shifts happening in rural America is the diversification of the economy. While agriculture remains the backbone of many small towns, communities are recognizing the need to explore alternative sources of income. Renewable energy, for instance, is quickly becoming a new pillar of the rural economy. Wind farms, solar power, and bioenergy projects are sprouting up across the heartland, creating new jobs and investment opportunities. These initiatives are not only diversifying income sources, but also aligning rural America with global sustainability trends. Another emerging industry is agro-tourism, where farmers are welcoming visitors to experience life on the farm. From farm-to-table dining experiences to hands-on agricultural workshops, rural towns are finding creative ways to attract visitors and generate income. These initiatives not only support local businesses, but also promote an understanding of where food comes from and the challenges farmers face. In this way, rural America is not simply trying to survive, it is actively shaping its own future. Communities are taking control of their destiny, forging a new path that balances tradition with innovation. The crisis has forced them to rethink what it means to live in the heartland, and they are emerging from this challenge with a renewed sense of purpose and possibility. Government support is crucial, but the future of American agriculture also depends on one thing: the resilience of the farmers themselves. Let's take a look at the mindset of the American farmer and how their determination is shaping the future of the industry. The resilient spirit, farmers' will to thrive. Despite the odds, American farmers are not giving up. In fact, they're embracing this crisis as an opportunity to redefine what it means to farm. The heart and soul of American agriculture have always been its farmers. Through wars, economic recessions, and natural disasters, farmers have continued to feed the world with unyielding determination. Today, even in the face of one of the greatest challenges the industry has ever seen, that resilience remains strong. Farmers are not just accepting their fate, they are actively shaping the future of the industry. Farmers across the country are banding together to share resources, knowledge, and strategies. In many rural areas, small cooperatives are forming to help farmers pool their resources, reduce costs, and adapt to new markets. These cooperatives are not only helping individual farmers stay afloat, they are fostering a sense of community and collaboration that is essential for long-term survival. At the same time, many farmers are using this crisis as an opportunity to embrace new agricultural methods. By diversifying their crops, exploring sustainable farming practices, and adopting cutting-edge technologies, farmers are creating a more resilient and innovative industry. They are no longer just fighting to survive, they are building a future that will thrive. In the face of adversity, the spirit of American farmers is stronger than ever. This is an industry that has survived centuries of change, and this challenge is no different. The road ahead is uncertain, but the drive to adapt, innovate, and overcome remains unwavering. As we've seen, the road ahead for American agriculture is filled with both challenges and opportunities. Farmers are adapting, communities are innovating, and policymakers are stepping up to support the industry. But what do you think? Will American agriculture emerge stronger from this crisis? Or are we witnessing the beginning of the end for U.S. farming? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing story.